Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Radio Show, a once proud member of the now defunct Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Autumn Hatcher is our guest co-host. Tyler Carson is in to talk music and life. We have just as much fun before we start the show, so why would I edit that out? If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead. Hey, welcome to the Life Radio Show that we've already been going for 4 minutes, and some of that I'll cut out.
I hope so.
Some of it.
Some of it.
Some of it I won't. Hey, welcome to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my co-host, Autumn Hatcher, top fan.
Top fan.
Yes.
It's me right here. That's how you get in. That's how you get in. You got to become a top fan.
Exactly. So that way you can come in and guest co-host for free.
For free.
And our next guest, Tyler Carson of St. Mary St. Michael, is back in.
Good to be back.
It's good to have you back. We discussed a little bit about my tattoo and the idea of having your words on somebody is kind of. Is it creepy? It's not creepy.
I mean, it depends on the words, right?
Well, yeah.
You know, like if you're putting out. Granted, I don't write like dumb. I was gonna say I don't write dumb songs. Maybe I do. I try not to write dumb songs. But yeah, I think it's when. Honestly, the weird part was how you told me. I got really worried. You're like, I got something to show you. It might be weird. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Our relationship is about to go to the next level.
We just talked about miles of penis.
I was going to say, it's going to be 2 miles of penis. That's what he wants to show you.
And you're like, oh, tattoo. I'm like, oh, that's really awesome. Thank you for liking my music.
Another Anodyne, that whole album is just, it's really hit me in a really interesting way because it's music has that power anyway.
Sure.
It has the power to really dig into you, and with the way this year's been going, it's been a very meaningful album
because you had said that, and obviously you said enough that you wanted to put it in tattoo, and that's your first tattoo.
That was my first tattoo, yes.
Which is more, I think, a bigger deal for your first tattoo. First one's
if it's somebody that's covered with them.
Yeah, you're like, okay, whatever. Okay, you just free real estate, but then I was thinking, that album came out in August. Which was not long ago, but I'm like it's been I've got a 4-month-old now, so I'm like, August seemed like 3 years ago to me, so a lot has happened.
It has, yeah.
And but yeah, I agree. I think I've had a couple people. I just joined Spotify for Artists and all that, so now I'm tracking analytics, which is like a scary thing to get into because then you see how much people don't like you.
Right.
Oh,
I stopped. I used to track analytics for my show.
It's not on the way up. I was trying to find some who my demographic of listener, and it says, "Oh, this past week you've had this many streams," and it says, "And nobody is listening right now." And I'm like, "Oh,
perfect.
Thanks. Good. Yeah, thanks for that." But no, I've really I took. Right after that, the album release in August, I took time off. I haven't really played out the album because I was going through speech therapy, and so I'm back to playing it again. But I've had people that have that's the first studio project that people seem to have responded well. My first couple albums were good, but this one I think resonated better.
Yeah, it definitely hit me hard.
Good.
Which
it's supposed to.
It's supposed to. It does. I still have not had a chance to get a copy of your album to Charlie.
But you have it, right?
I have it.
I even brought some extras anyways, just in case. Yeah. So okay, cool.
But no, I went ahead and got a second already too.
After you do the first, then it's like whatever.
It looked lonely. It's like okay.
It's not that it's addictive. People are like tattoos is addicting. I'm like, no, it's just. Once you've done it once, then the next one, it's like, whatever. I've already done it. I might as well do it again.
But you're in good company because that's actually Leonard Cohen. That's the Order of the Unified Hearts.
Nice.
Is my second tattoo. So
since you told me about what was his
Oh, You Want It Darker?
I love that.
Have you listened to? Because I got this I think 3 Fridays ago when they released his posthumous album.
I haven't listened to that one yet.
Yeah, it
Yeah?
is amazing.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's
I always wait for actual
called
critiques of
Thanks for the
posthumous
Dance.
albums
Yeah,
because
it's
sometimes it's
fantastic.
like, here's all the terrible songs that he never released. So we're
no.
gonna
This is all the stuff he was working at up until he died.
Wow. Okay.
So this is all. This was stuff that there was. I think. Thanks for the Dance. He was bedridden. He wasn't even able to. But that
Jeez.
he put what little energy he had into recording the lyrics on that.
Wow. All
So
right.
yeah, because his son helped him record a bunch of that.
So add that to the playlist.
Yeah, that one's fantastic as well. So, because Leonard Cohen's another one that a lot of his songs really hit me in a unique way. So
Yeah, when I listened to You Want It Darker, it was like, even he's one of the few that like musically you could take his lyrics out and the music would still convey the same idea.
yeah,
Because I'm like, I feel kind of uncomfortable listening to this, and I'm listening to lyrics. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be uncomfortable.
yeah,
Okay, good for you.
It's definitely. You read a lot into what he was going through, and
Right.
he really puts it into the song very well. As do you know.
Well, I got to
your
shout out my
lyrics as
band.
well.
They really came through on that album too. The
Yeah.
music, the piano and cello and it all made it. So it was really great. It's great work. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you've been taking some time off.
Yep.
Are you getting ready to get back out there? Are you getting back out there now?
So I still do. I've continued the open mic at Fretboard Brewing, which has actually been really fun because the owners let me keep the cover bands away. Not that if you're in a cover band, I'm not hating on you, but there's like 30 of those open mics around town. So we wanted to give songwriters, and realistically not even songwriters. I've had people say, like, if I want to go and do like some poetry, great, do it. They never do, but they ask. But right, that's always how
Ever
it goes.
get comedians going up to do comedy at your?
I'd love it. That you get 15 minutes, whatever that looks like.
Oh well, 15 minutes of comics at an open mic is going to be terrible, especially mixed open mic. Those are tough for comics anyway.
They really
I don't
are.
see how that is. It's
Especially if people there are expecting music and like,
Right.
like I was just
I
going
try
up.
to
I
avoid-
told Charlie when she's like, "Well, I do music." I'm like, "That's great. I don't care if it's funny or not. Come up and do it." And she, but yeah. So, but anyway, so that's been going really well. We've had some great like new songwriters. Enjoy that.
now where's that at?
Fretboard Brewing. It's every first Wednesday of the night. The only one in town that caters to original artists, is what I say. It's probably not true, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
So
Well, I would think open mics for musicians would want to cater more toward
so you
originals
would, you
because
would think.
A cover band. Do you really need to go to an open mic? It's not like you're testing out new material, which is what an open mic should be for.
Should be designed right. Well, and so I we've seen a couple of things. You've got the crew that they play in their basement, and there aren't a lot of venues that let you be terrible on stage. And and so open mics is one that it's understood that people aren't always going to be great.
Right.
So you have a lot of people that they just want to play. And they don't write anything, but they want to do that, which that's cool. And then you got a lot of the jammers. They want all the gear up on stage. I just want to go up and jam with people. And again, not that that's wrong, but there's a lot of those around town too. And I wanted to say the people that were intimidated or I'm not good enough, then that's where you belong, is here to figure it out. Or I've written songs for 10 years. We had a couple, they'd written songs for a few years, but had never performed. And then they came back every week, and that was really cool. So I've been doing that. But yeah, I took time off after my album release. I had just destroyed my voice with all of the instruction I do at the climbing gym and the singing, and then baby came, so obviously I
climbing
wasn't
gym.
sleeping. Do what?
The climbing gym.
Rock climbing. I'm a
Oh, okay.
yeah. That's what pays the bills. I'm not such a great artist that my music pays for house
that takes a
payments
while.
and
That
babies.
takes a while.
Right. Well, maybe next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I work at a rock climbing gym in Cincinnati, and so I do a lot of the more advanced instruction. But in a gym, you have to be really loud.
Right.
And so I'm loud.
Especially if they're all the way up on a wall.
Correct. And so I
Don't fall.
yeah, like don't stay on the wall right there.
Hang on.
But yeah, I essentially have chronic vocal fatigue. Like even right now, my throat is almost always sore, and because I was not using it the right way and using it too frequently. So I had to go to the doctor and meet a specialist and learn how to talk the right way, which is good, but less. It's like physical therapy of any kind. It hurts and it takes months to see any actual change. So this December, or it is December now, the end of the month, I'm playing a show at Arnold's. I don't know. Apparently that's a known venue. I'm still too new to Cincinnati to know, it's like historic, whatever that means. But a buddy of mine, Steve Covington, he's a bluegrass kind of Americana band. And so he said, hey, you want to play? And I said, yeah, let's make it happen. So that's December 28th, but that'll be the first full real show I've done in a couple months.
Cool. That'll be fun. It'll be fun getting back.
It's good. The band, it's, I don't know if I said this before, but all the guys in my band are people that when they joined were like, we'll help you record and play, but we're not going to be your band. And I was like, cool, because it's just me. I don't want a band. And they've been in the band ever since. So
the band that isn't a band. Yeah.
And so they were like, hey, man, we need to start playing again. Like, I think that's a good thing when the guys who aren't in your band are asking when the next gig is. So you're doing something right. So yeah, it'll be good. And I got some stuff planning up on the next year as well. So
awesome.
It'll be fun.
Awesome. How is fatherhood going?
I don't want to jinx anything.
Okay.
But,
Well, you got this look on your face like she's here. I don't want to.
She's here. Yeah. So she sleeps. She's sleeping right now. No, it's been great. The transitions have been a little suspiciously good. You know, she crib trained early. We get a good 12 hours of sleep a night from her, except, every once in a while. But yeah, so like it's been a little, I'm like scared. I think Karma's about to come up and punch me in the face real hard. Like, all right, did you enjoy that? Well, now here's what it's like. So, but no, it's been really great. Yeah, she comes to work with me. Which is cool.
Did you climb up the wall yet, or
not yet? She's making me look bad.
I think it's because her legs aren't quite possibly long enough yet. Give her a year.
That's excuses. Yeah.
Listen, coming from down here, it can be rough. Okay.
But yeah, no, she's named. So Colin Avery, that's her name. We named her after the Decemberists. Colin Malloy, the songwriter. And they have a song called Dear Avery. And so that was when we were joking before, because we didn't know what we were going to have. We waited. And Jess is a twin, so that we came prepared for like
two at once. Yeah, two for deal.
Borderline gender neutral names that could apply or whatever. And I said, I don't care what the name is, but it has to have a meaning. Right. And I don't want to just be like, Oliver sounds cute. I don't want to. No, I want to.
I have an Oliver.
Yeah, and that's.
No, I'm kidding.
Whatever, I don't care. Your kid has a dumb name, right? But no, it's like, and not that a lot of people, they just like, that's a fun name. I'm like, well, if it has something, if it means something, and for me, obviously, musicians always matter. So it's better than my wife's meaningful.
Oh,
so she said, I like the name Annabelle, and I went.
That's an adorable name.
I couldn't.
The scary doll.
It's no, it's a different movie.
Well, if you're an Edgar Allan Poe fan,
Annabelle's Wish. There's a movie it's a Christmas movie about a cow who wants to be a reindeer. And I said, we cannot name our daughter after a cow.
So many cows today. Does that cow like to eat grass?
Show,
yeah, I hope
we
so.
We even had a news story that involved a cow.
A cow, yeah.
And a donkey and a camel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't want to name my daughter after a cow.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was going to say, because Annabelle, that would have meaning to me because I'm a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's cool.
Because it would have had to have been Annabelle Lee, but, that's
but
that's
yeah.
why I like the name. But.
No, and it's like, whatever. I don't want to just be like, Dad, why am I this? And I always like the idea of saying, oh, you're named after this musician. Here's all the music that's affected me. And it's a shared experience later.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll see. Maybe she's like, Dad, that's cool, but I really hate this band. And I'm going to have to say, well, I hope you hate living on the streets. Yeah. So anyways.
Yep. Now you go to your room and listen.
Go to your room and here's I'll have all of them on vinyl. Here's the discography. There you go. Not coming out until you can sing at least 3 songs from memory.
One of my favorite, Tim Lucas is a local comic. He just moved to Chicago, but one of my favorite jokes of his, it's not really just a joke, it's more of a comment. He said he had a friend that named their kid Nevaeh, And they said,
Nevaeh.
Nevaeh. He said, "Oh, what does that mean?" They said, "Well, it's heaven spelled backwards." And he said, "Oh, isn't that stupid?"
Was he here for that contest that Ian was in?
He might have been. Yeah, he might have been.
Yeah.
That was.
That sounds familiar.
It was a fireworks contest, right?
No. The
World Series
most
of Comedy?
offensive.
Oh, most offensive. I don't know if Tim's done most offensive.
Is he an
He
older
might
dude
have.
with like glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Jumps
he
around
was.
a lot, yells,
Yeah,
"Yay!
Yeah, he was here.
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah.
that was Tim Lucas. He's a genius and just a crazy person.
Yeah, and Nevaeh it's a stupid name.
Yeah, that's
It's also my daughter's name. So
Cool. You're just 2 for
Nevaeh
2
and
now.
Oliver, man.
to name my kids, what I did was I went up to strangers and I was like, write a name down, throw it in this hat, and I just went
just
around like
pick it up?
Walmart,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
I just I threw it in the air, and whichever one's a caught, I was like,
You went around
nailed it.
Walmart and did that?
Yes, because only smart
Is
people are at
one
Walmart.
of them named like Jim Bob?
You know what? As a matter of fact, it
Speaking-
is.
That's the cow. that's the cowboy.
That's the cow. That's the one that was eating grass.
Jim Bob the cow.
Jim
He's a
Bob's
good
a cow. Yeah.
Look at him graze.
I
He's
have
my
had to
favorite
learn
cow.
like certain jokes aren't funny to other people. So like when people come and offer you when you're, as you probably know, people just freely offer their advice to you when you're a parent. Like, oh, this is what great. You had one child who's now a crack addict, but you're the expert. And so people come up and like, well, and here's what I do if they cry too much. Some things that I did. I'm like, well,
You
she
give them
starts
vodka.
crying. I just shake her and she stops. And they're like,
No.
don't.
You're like 911.
Yeah, right, like child
There's
services.
This guy here.
Like, I'm joking. I clearly don't shake her. I just slip her some whiskey and we go,
Right.
Yeah.
well, she's teething now. And so I'm like, well, that's whiskey on the gums, calms them down.
Moonshine, a little moonshine.
Good
Little moonshine.
Moonshine does it quicker.
Yeah. Also, white women with big booties.
Right.
Good
right.
moonshine, big booty white chick.
Yeah.
Yep. Still the episode title.
So, but yes, it's been fun. We like making jokes. I'm the clear favorite to the chagrin of my wife. She loves the
I don't
baby.
know. That kid looks
That's-
really comfortable right
That's the thing that sucks is little girls love their dads. Like no matter how much the mom is like, love me, the daughter's like,
It's like flirty. Like she'll see me and like, hey. We think it's the beard. We think
shave
because
the beard and make a video. I want to see
she
that.
no, I will not shave
don't
my.
do it,
You
don't
get
do
it.
it.
Don't shave the beard. You get it.
But I mean, it might traumatize her too.
Well, I think because before they're young enough that they can't really like see far away, they
Yeah.
can still feel. And when I'm holding her, my beard's in her face all the time, which people are like, doesn't she hate that? Dear God, I wish.
And you're like, oh, I'm trying to actually smother her,
Yeah,
but
right, like, whatever.
But
It helps her go to sleep because she can't breathe and passes out.
Right. Exactly. And then,
It works.
then no more crying.
and
so-
add the whiskey.
Right.
Add the whiskey. Perfect.
So right
combo.
now, she thinks I'm the most amazing thing and loves me. She'll get
If you
older.
just dip your beard in whiskey.
That's
way
a
it's just-
perfect plan.
She's right out.
I've got some right here. Let's try it.
Jess is taking notes right now.
You got some. I have a full bar in the other room. I think we're
Ooh.
covered.
Just not Canadian whiskey. That's
Oh
my-
no,
yeah.
real whiskey. Yeah. not a fan of bourbon or whiskey actually.
Really?
Vodka, love vodka.
You're- I mean,
like vodka way too
The
much.
great thing about America is you are allowed to be wrong, so that's
Right.
fine.
I agree. I can
I'm a-
have any dumb idea
Yeah,
I want.
that's right.
You know.
I'm a huge fan of Diet Coke. I'm just gonna put that out there.
You
Diet Coke.
animal. You are an animal.
I don't drink a lot. Turns out I'm too old, and you will get a hangover that you'll have to, sleep for
Well-
3 days.
you don't do it often enough.
Yeah, maybe.
You drink often
Maybe.
enough, you don't get vodka. Doesn't give me a hangover.
Yeah,
Oh.
the hard stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
when you start mixing in sugary stuff.
Right.
The sugar
right,
is what gives you that. You're dehydrated.
yeah.
Well,
Vodka's just water. It's just like fun water. That's
It's
all it
fun.
is.
Exact. Fun
turns out
water,
I've been
fun
using
water.
my throat the wrong way.
Boom.
Yeah. You need a coach.
I need a coach.
I can make some anyway.
You gonna make some calls? You can give me a coach here? I am excited.
And you should be. I know if it's good vodka. If it's good vodka, I don't get a hangover.
Oh, so like none of the
If
cheap
if
Some of
stuff.
the cheap
I know,
stuff can-
Tito's, well, vodka. Tito's is like a step up from. It's really popular right now, and it just tastes like garbage. Tastes like garbage and jet fuel.
Oh.
See, I don't know if this is true. If you like vodka, maybe this is true. But someone told me once, and I said, "Well, I never liked it." He goes, "Well, you got to drink the the good vodka, you know it's good vodka because you can't taste it.
Right.
I'm like, well then, do you like vodka or do you like being drunk? Like those are two different things, right?
Well, I like good smooth vodka,
Smooth
not that
vodka.
well stuff. I drink Stoli because if it doesn't have a Russian name on it, it's not vodka anyway.
Does it
Tito's
taste?
should be making tequila, not vodka.
Sure, I'm on board for that.
Yeah.
But does it taste good or does it taste like nothing?
He's biased. He can't really give us a nice,
Exactly,
solid
yeah, that's-
answer.
yeah,
Like,
I'm-
See, I like good whiskey. It has good flavor to me. Bad whiskey tastes bad.
Maybe I've just only had bad whiskey.
Maybe.
I used to drink Scotch, but
I'm on board for
I
Scotch.
don't have a big taste for that anymore.
I like Irish more than Scotch.
Yeah. We got some Jameson out there.
oh, no, never again.
Jameson's great.
No. I'm going to throw this story out there.
Awesome.
I had too much Jameson one night because my friend's like, have another shot. And I'm like, I think I will.
Yeah, why not?
So my friend and I were just taking shots because we're pros. We're so cool. I ended up puking in her bathroom, and the poor girl didn't have anywhere to go, so she's puking in her closet. While my other friend is like asking everybody why I'm so angry at the toilet, because when I puke, I sound like a 40-year-old man. And that's my hidden talent.
You're using your throat wrong.
I'm using my throat wrong.
See, my Jameson story is me and my buddy went into Kroger. Have you watched the movie Peaky Blinders? Or not the movie, the Netflix show? Well, one of the things there, the main character always drinks Irish whiskey. And my buddy hadn't watched the show. And I'm like, well, let's go get some Jameson. We'll watch the show and have a great night. We show up, and the Jameson had like the free Jameson shot glass on top of it. Oh. So clearly we both needed one. So we buy 2 bottles.
One. Yeah.
And we drink an entire bottle of Jameson between the two of us. We're watching, and I pass out holding like a glass of whiskey. I'm just like on the couch, like holding it asleep. So the episode ends. My buddy like wakes me up. He's like, "Hey, dude, are you like whatever?" And I look at him. I down my glass of whiskey and walk out. I don't say anything. I just walk out the door and go home. And he texted me the next day. He's like, "You okay? Like, did you get home?" I'm like, "Yeah, what happened?" He's like, "I woke you up. You drank your glass of whiskey. You downed it in one gulp and walked out the door and left." I'm like, that sounds so hardcore. It's like, I mean, it is because you're still okay. Like, if you hadn't, that would have been really bad. But I'm like, well, okay. So that's when I knew I shouldn't drink half a bottle of Jameson by,
Yeah, that's
one night.
not usually a good idea.
It's a horrible idea.
Yeah, no,
Made me sound really cool.
So cool.
Yeah, I did wake up one morning and found that the brand new liter of vodka I just bought the night before was totally gone.
Liter, there you go.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that was a rough night.
And I didn't get any text messages from you
And
either.
next day, and day
I
after.
don't even think I could find my phone. Actually, a step further, I probably couldn't have found my fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, where's...
They were in the hidey hole.
As they are wont to do.
Yeah.
I feel bad with your infant in the room. I
know.
hope we don't corrupt this child before.
So I was at the climbing gym once, and she goes to her room, so I'm walking, and we had set one of these routes that was so designed to be difficult for that grade, which doesn't make any sense to you guys, but it's designed to make you fall. Like, it's the point of it. So this person's climbing in. I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" He's like, "This route is effing hard." "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your kid." And I'm like, "Yeah, you better watch your effing mouth around my kid." It's like, you know me. You think are you kidding me? If the worst thing is that her first word is not going to be mom or dad. It's going to be like, "Why don't you just say this, you little," and that's what she's going to happen to say. And then I'm going to get phone calls from preschool or whatever. And like, your daughter said that. Yeah, well, it sounds like me.
Well, that's when you turn it back around on them and say, "Well, they must have learned it from you because I don't talk like that."
I don't talk like that.
That teacher needs to be fired.
Exactly.
I tell you what,
back
we'll just
around.
let this go, and I won't bring up charges.
But don't let it happen
Yeah, but
again.
if it happens
If it happens
again, if I get another phone call about this,
I will sue. You guys will.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that.
duly noted.
Yes.
They'd know.
They know?
They'd know with you. Yeah, you don't have a chance.
No, here's the thing is I avoid them. I don't make any
You
like
avoid your
parent.
kids?
Yes. Notice why I'm here.
Good deal. Yeah.
Do
Well,
Actually, they're in the trunk, but just don't tell anybody.
I avoided kids so well, I don't have any.
Yeah.
Do you want one?
Yeah.
No.
Can we make a bargain?
She's got a couple extra.
Yeah.
No, I've taken steps to make sure I won't have one.
Oh yeah, you were just on that last time I was on the show.
Yeah.
Albus.
It was fun. It's a good time. Well, that's what was funny when I was getting this tattoo. I had two people. I had two friends of mine that were in there with me, and they had their phones out. I said, "What are you guys doing?" They said, "They pass out from that needle." I was like, "Guys, a month ago I had a vasectomy. A guy literally ripped my vas deferens out of each side of my sack. I think a little needle in the arm is going to be okay." Yeah.
And you have to be awake for this too, don't you?
You are awake for it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing: there's a lot of stuff they don't tell you about that when you first do your little initial thing. They don't tell you they can't really numb. They numb where they make the incision, but once they reach in, because they reach in with their fingers and they pull that out, and it's like one of those zip strings on the old the Evel Knievel racer, where he goes zing, zing, and it goes flying across the room. Because I scooted.
Did
up
it
till
go
my head
flying across the room?
I scooted up till my head hit the wall. I felt that in this eyebrow.
God.
And that big toe.
And that big
I
toe.
didn't know it was connected all the way through.
Everything just starts moving. You're like, whoa, that's interesting.
And it hit my vocal cords too, but I was using my throat wrong apparently.
But you were using your throat wrong.
It's all about the diaphragm.
Yeah, which I did right. You're using your throat wrong, and a possible show title as well, since we keep going back to that. But,
Yeah, it's because we all need lessons.
but
If
yeah,
anybody
the
out there
tattoo
wants
needle
to-
didn't bother me. Not at all.
Not at all.
No.
No.
And when I got the second one, there were a couple. He got kind of deep on some of them, and it did. I wasn't going to complain because as I was sitting there having that done, there was a young lady like probably 20 years old next to me that was having a tattoo on her sternum. So it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to complain about my arm.
Yeah, the sternum. Yeah, anything on bone, not meat, hurts.
Yeah.
And say my worst one was my ribs.
Yeah.
That one hurt. I'm like sweating. I feel bad because there's just like sweat everywhere, and I'm just like, it's okay. Keep going. Keep going.
My shoulder
Ow,
piece up here, I don't have a lot of muscle, and that tattoo's like, you feel it in your skull when it hits that bone, that shoulder bone there. You're just like, okay, I don't need to do that again.
Yeah. One of those is enough.
Check
In fact,
box.
just stop now. Half of one's
Like
fine.
it's cool. Half of a tree. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't have to. I'll explain.
Yep, I'll come up with a story.
It's
of
a
why
metaphor.
It's
Fine.
I got a tree on my arm, and when they started coming around like for the branches on
and
the
you get
inside,
get
I'm
the
like,
armpit.
I'm like,
sensitive in there. Yeah.
it doesn't go that far around, and it's barely on the inside. But
it's
I'm a
still-
little lady, and it hurts, so not embarrassed.
Jess's first tattoo was on her ribs, and she's like, "Yeah, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah, she's just sitting
Yeah.
over there thinking, wussies.
yeah, you little babies."
Were you fine? Did it hurt real bad? No.
Some people, register pain in different areas. My ribs, I was terrified. It did not hurt.
Wow.
Well.
Yeah, I don't know how many more I'm getting. I know there's a couple more I'm looking at, but
Well, I've been
it'll be
thinking
a little while.
this whole time. I'm like, so to get Don to tattoo something about me on his body, I got to write him a song. So
Just make it super sad. Hello.
yeah,
super
yeah.
sad.
Or just other's impress me some way.
It's gonna be super sad and also about farts. So
Deal.
I hope you
I'm in.
like it.
I'm in. I'm already okay. There's definitely a new super sad fart tattoo.
Is that just like a fart cloud? That's like,
Yeah, that's the sound a super sad fart makes. Just, meh, meh.
oh, I'm sorry.
This is good radio, guys.
Yeah, it is. Smell check.
Yeah, this is quality stuff. All right, we're gonna have to take our imaginary break,
Okay.
and we'll probably play another song, and then we come back. We'll have you play a song.
I'll play a song.
and then we'll discuss news stories.
Okay.
Sweet.
The important news of the day. Thanks for listening to Life. Stick around. We're going to be back with some after this song that we're going to play in our heads.
Ooh.
So sing along. We'll be back here shortly. Word.
The only is I am is a scientist. Federal Lounge got an 8-stage rocket with a pair of chicken wings. Mr. Fairmont Disco.
Go, John!
That's the sweet stuff, man. Federal Lounge got an 8-stage rocket with a pair of chicken wings. Mr. from the Disco.
I feel like you're attacking me in my sad fart song.
So that's like cutesy metal.
Yeah, but it sounds really brutal, and it's not. So, and he's like, and everyone's like, dude, yeah, and they're moshing, like, bleh. I'm like, if only you knew what he was actually saying.
Well, that's the beauty of not being able to understand them. As you can get as hardcore as you want and have no idea that you're singing about Mr. Rogers.
Right.
I want to see Bob Ross heavy metal. That's what. Yeah.
Make it happy little trash.
Yeah, happy accidents. It's all about the happy accidents here.
Right?
That's funny because that's her nickname. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Wasn't too happy.
We made that. Yeah. Just kidding. I was sad. I'm still sad about it.
Sorry, that's a mom joke.
Oh lordy.
Mom jokes are a little more brutal than dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very hurtful, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not ashamed.
You were in my
That's
life.
what my mom always used to say. I wish I never had you kids.
It's a joke, I think.
No,
I don't
it
know.
wasn't a joke. She seriously she's sick of us.
She's sick.
Yeah. Well, she had 4 boys, so it was hell for her.
Oh.
Where are you on the spectrum of good versus bad? Are you?
Good versus bad.
Yeah, like are you
I'm
one
the
of the
youngest.
better of the 4? Or
I'm the youngest, so
you're
I'm
the worst.
I'm the worst, but you'd never know
But
it
also
because
the
I
favorite.
know how to not get caught. I watched my brother. I had 3 brothers to look at and say that's how they got busted. And
Well, I was just going to say,
learned
like,
from that.
one of you as a kid would be like another 3 of you. I'd go crazy too, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I started recording already just
Did
because.
you? Did you get my mean mom joke?
I did.
Oh no!
I wanted you to say you were the first, because then I'm like, you don't try again after that. You we failed.
Right,
It didn't.
right.
This kids aren't for me anymore. I'm just going to stick with this one hell child.
See, I was an accident because my oldest brother, and then the year and a half later, another one came along, and then less than a year later, actually, 2 of my brothers are what we call Catholic twins.
Yep. Oh, I know the Catholic twin.
Because their birthdays are really close,
Right.
Just a little less than a year apart.
Sure.
How
But,
awful.
And then 4 years, and then me. So I know I was not planned. In fact, I would have never happened if Good Samaritan Hospital at the time would have tied my mom's tooth because she wanted him to.
Well, we've all been blessed by
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Jess is a
thank
twin,
goodness.
and that's always a joke that one of the twins was the accident. Which one? She was the first.
Point do you realize? Wait,
One of us wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I was born first. I'm going to say it's Jess.
Yeah,
Okay, there
her
you go,
sister
there you
was
go.
the one that.
One to one.
Yeah.
You fought for that spot, though.
Right, I did.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you didn't fight hard enough, or you would have absorbed her
Yeah,
in the
like
womb.
in utero.
That's your
That's how you're
mistake.
supposed to do it.
Fighting after that.
So that years from now you develop a tumor that looks like a face.
Just to think, Jess, you could have the strength right now of a grown woman and an infant, all and just add it up. You'd be like
Exactly,
a superhero.
Maybe there were 3 to begin with.
Ooh.
And that's
yeah.
why the rib tattoo didn't hurt.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Because you were absolutely tattooing.
You're tattooing
on
the in utero.
Yeah,
Tattooed
your
right on the
unborn
face.
sister was actually getting a tattoo. That's a neck tattoo, so she'll never be able to get a job for her. So So you're just going to have an unemployed sister
That's-
attached to you.
That's either a perfect idea for like a B-rated comedy movie, or a great concept album for Burger God.
Oh, Burger Kill in the,
Yeah.
in the voice of God.
See, that'd be
That's their first concept album.
It's a good way to have a mental break and develop, like, multiple personalities.
cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. I just have an in utero
Like,
assistant.
it's not me talking.
Oh man.
It's the one with the neck tattoo right here on my ribs.
I don't really have a twin. I just say, I have one.
I'm a twin. Do you want to see her?
I'm going to do that every time before I moon somebody. I have a twin.
Hey, anyway, welcome back to the live radio show. Wasn't really planning on coming back, 5 minutes before I planned to come back. But here we are. I think we got some good material
Got some good
out of that
stuff.
one, especially the concept album for Burger Kill. That's,
Nice.
I'm gonna talk to him next time I see him screaming out in public. I mean, playing out in public.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be the
Executive producer. There
of
you
the
go.
That's when you don't have to put my name on. It's fine. You don't need
Of,
credit.
and the album would be called Unborn Fetal Neck Tattoo.
Yes.
I am on board. That is great.
I will buy that album. Full price.
Anyway, in case you just joined us, go back and listen to the rest because this is a podcast, and then you'll get here with the rest of us. All right. Welcome to the live radio show again. I'm Don Smith. I'm sitting in with Autumn Hatcher and Tyler Carson from St. Mary, St. Michael. In the midst of all this craziness, did you really want to play a sad song for us?
Yeah, I love it.
Is it about farts?
What do you? It can be whatever you want it to be.
Can you
about.
improv it? Like at the end, just throw in
Listen,
that's a sad fart.
I tried that once where they were like, "Hey, just do a song, right? Like just make it up." Like you don't want me
just
to.
riff, yeah.
It wasn't good.
I do that all the time, and my kids are like, "Mom, just shut up." And I'm like,
I
"Wait,
don't
here's
like
the
this,
second
Mom.
verse."
I don't like this. Nobody's enjoying this right now.
Oh, I do all kinds of stuff to them. Poor kids.
That's why you have kids, is to
Exactly.
embarrass
so
someone.
you can do embarrassing things to them.
So what song do you want me to play? Just asked what song. I'm like, I don't ever know what I'm doing before I do it.
Oh, okay.
So-
Do you have a preference?
Yeah, the tattoo song.
The tattoo song?
The tattoo
Right.
song.
Mr. Gray. That
Mr.
is,
Gray.
yeah. Love that song.
So
And I love the fact that it has nothing to do with Mr. Gray from the 50 Shades of Grey.
So-
it is a literary reference to the picture of Dorian Gray.
Picture of Dorian Gray is the reference,
which
but
is-
I
that's
like
Oscar Wilde, right?
correct.
Yeah.
I do like introducing it as I'll say this song's called Mr. Gray, and it's about 50 Shades of Grey, and that really changes the context of the song. And it's it makes it less
does, it
depressing and more like okay
more
cool.
creepy.
So
No, I don't like the reference to 50 Shades.
but yeah, this
Not,
song
not considering it's a permanent part of my arm now.
I especially love it for that reason.
So I guess you would say this is the title track of Another Anodyne.
Yes.
I always like album names taking from a random lyric of a song. And so yeah, it's called Mr. Gray, and it's I guess toxic relationships, but you enjoy the toxic relationship, but it's bad for you. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
that's how they work.
right. That's why they're toxic. So yeah, it's called Mr. Gray, and I'll play it. I've never been the one to let people in. My heart was never on my sleeve, never on my sleeve. It's easy You promised me you'd be my anodyne. Supposed to be my anodyne. You were supposed to be my anodyne. Now I'm looking in the mirror like some modern Mr. Gray. The more I feed into your image, the more I quickly fade away. And I don't mind this hell I've crawled to. At least it's something that I know. But I can't help but feel there's more for me. You just let me go. You were supposed to be my anodyne. I need to find another anodyne. You promised me you'd be my anodyne. Well, I need to find another anodyne. That's it.
Awesome.
Do I clap there?
If you want.
Listen, it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
Best
that
part
was too much cute right there.
Your daughter's just staring at
She
you
loves
from the back. She's like, "That's my dad.
That's my daddy."
That's my
I'll show
dad."
you pictures after. We've got, she was at the album release show. It was about a month after she was born, and has these like massive baby headphones up because obviously
protect
it's a
your
full
hearing.
band.
Right,
and,
Yeah.
and yeah, she actually the first cute dad moment I had was my cellist Michael Ronstadt, who writes songs as well. We had a writing session, and Jess was like, "I got to go do this thing. You have to watch the kid." Well, I'm doing a writing session, whatever. So I bring her down, and she's kind of fussy, and we start playing, and she just like shuts up, and it's just like eyes like wide staring at me. So that was when I was like, all right, cool. I like being a dad now.
She loves it. You can tell. Like, she's 100% your biggest fan.
Told you, I'm the favorite.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, Mr. Gray.
Yeah, absolutely love that song.
Yeah.
It's-
I think it sounds really good on the album too. You got cool cello parts and piano. It's fun.
it's put together very well. But I mean, just the songwriting in general, the lyrics, everything, and it's put together so well on the album.
So
Fantastic job.
another anodyne. I'll do my shameless plug for me.
Absolutely.
St. Mary, St. Michael. Another anodyne is that album, and there's a lot of great songs on that, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. Praying Drunk's another one of my
Praying
favorites.
Drunk.
I've done that too much.
It's really, it's really fun about this album. So my first album, Sea of Empty Faces,
Right.
people,
Another good one.
people
I
really
like
enjoyed
a lot
that.
of those, too.
There's some things on that was I had moved up here and just been writing music, and I didn't know what to do with it, so I put this album out. And then the second one is a concept album, We Are Dead from the Start. It's based on the book 1984. And a lot of people did not like that because they're like, I couldn't connect. I'm like, it's not about you. It's about a book. Like, either enjoy that or shut up. I don't care. But then this album, I got both. Like, every song is someone's favorite. Like, hey, that's like my favorite song you've ever written. And then the next song, like, but I really couldn't. I just hate that other song. I'm like, it's really, which is good. 'Cause the polarizing, I've had really great. There's only been one song on. I think it's the one kind of happy song. Do I Love You Less?
Yeah.
I'm like, that one was almost like a throwaway. I liked it enough. I didn't want to do nothing with it. I didn't love it enough to put it early on in the album.
It's still a good song.
It's
It's still-
fun.
it's
Like,
still a
musically,
good song, yeah.
it's fun. But there have been songs that I'm like, nobody's gonna like this. It's just album filler. And someone's like, oh my gosh, like that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm like, okay, well, like Rooted, I'd say is like the one that is most me, like the most personal, current. And people are like, yeah, I mean, it's cool, I guess. I'm like, oh, so you like Praying Drunk, which is, I didn't actually write that original. That's a buddy of mine wrote that, and I reworked it to be mine. And that's so great. It's so powerful. I can tell your emotions. And I'm like, I didn't write that. I didn't write that song. I'm glad you like it, but Rooted is like me pouring my heart out. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's fine.
It's just all right.
But then I've had other people. I mean, I'm sure you get, because you're, the comedy's the same way. Like, the jokes you think are like, this is going to kill. And people are like, whatever. And then here's just not even a joke. It's like a transition to the next joke. And people think it's the funniest thing in the world.
I've had just stuff I randomly said off the top of my head that hit better than some of my jokes.
You're like practiced material.
Right. And I threw one out last night on the show that I really liked and thought was funny. It's kind of a thinker, but nothing. No reaction at all. I was like, okay, I won't be doing that one
Probably
again.
because it was a thinker.
It wasn't a thinking crowd in there.
No.
In fact, one person I asked, I said, what threw you off on this one?
Like, well, it started from the beginning when you wanted me to think.
He actually said, well, it required a lot of thought. I was like, oh, okay, so you get your weed at the same place I do. Perfect.
Do you
that got a laugh.
do you watch comedians in cars getting coffee? Have you seen any of those?
I've seen some of them. Actually, I had one of my guests that was on a couple weeks back. Sam Quasman is the product placement guy for Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, right on.
You'll see him pull up with one of the scenes. He pulls up in a car with whatever product they're trying to sell.
Right, that's funny. I really enjoy it. It might be different if you're a comedian watching, but I have enjoyed it because it gets you into the mind of the comedians.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about, like, if you think you have 15 minutes of good material, you probably have about 2 minutes of good material. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's the thing about you. You practice this routine, and the open mics is back, especially when the greats were all getting their start. He's like, you go to the show, and you're like, okay, you need 15 minutes, and that's a long time in comedy world.
Yes, it is.
And you'd get up there, and like, oh, I don't have 15. Okay, scratch. Okay, if I just get 2 minutes, like that's the goal. And I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I could not do that.
Oh yeah, it can be. It can be. I closed a show out a while back and did 20, I think, or right close to 20. And it was kind of rough because it was a small room too. It was like 8 people.
Oh my gosh.
See, that's why you need to fill it with me and Michaela.
Well,
were you going to drive all the way up to Lima?
You don't know that I wouldn't.
they've got T-shirts
Okay,
with your
well,
face on it.
That's true.
We
That's true.
are big fans, Don.
I always say I would rather play in front of 20,000 people than 3 people. Because a big room, a big crowd, it's just all like they're there. Like, but 8 people, you can look at their faces and like.
Well, that's the thing with comedy, especially because you get 8 people in there. One of the worst shows I ever did, still one of the worst ones, was actually my first paid show. I never actually got any money. In fact, the person that booked me was worried she wouldn't have a job.
Wowzers.
Oh.
Yeah. And I wasn't even offensive at that point.
Jeez.
I wasn't even dirty. I was clean. And now I started getting a little mad because I got up there. I was supposed to do 20 minutes. It was just me. And I was new. I mean, I was like green. I kind of had the material. It wasn't all great. But these guys did not want to laugh. And what it was is it was at a college, and it was a college reunion.
Ooh.
And they told me there's going to be 75 to 100 people in this auditorium. I thought, that's great. 75 to 100 people, that's perfect because there's anonymity. People can laugh. They won't be all bunched up.
And it'll feed on itself
And-
when one person
yeah.
laughs and the next person. And then they're laughing just
Right.
because everyone's having a good time.
Right. But I got there. There's this huge auditorium. There were 12 people.
No, thank you.
They all knew each other, and nobody wanted to laugh because, well, what if my friend over here thinks that I think something that's offensive is
Right.
funny? And if they think it's offensive and I laugh, they're not going to like me. And so it ended up being a disaster. And after 5 minutes, I was like, these guys do not like me at all.
Right.
Now, I was paid to do 20 minutes. I probably could have gotten away with doing, 15, 16 minutes. Nope. Once I realized they hated my guts, I gave them 25 minutes of the worst crap I had. And it was bad.
Were you like,
There were 12 people there when the show started. By the time I walked off stage, I think there were 6 left in the room.
so you purposely was like, what's the worst thing I can say
this
that these
point,
people will just
You're not
frown
going to laugh
at?
Oh
anyways.
yeah. Yeah, they hated my guts. So I was
Welcome
like,
to
okay.
Don's room of torture.
We're going to hell today.
I saw Ralphie May came to my college, MTSU, which is in Middle Tennessee State. So you get a lot of Memphis and Jackson, Tennessee, especially a lot of the athletes. They come to MTSU. It's a large school, D1, but there's a lot of there are a lot of African Americans at the school. And Ralphie May came on and told some joke that's clearly like a black person joke, and you see like there's a divide where like a lot of the young white kids are sitting. We're like the black guys they think it's funny, and Ralphie May, who's just like, all right guys, you see the black people over there, they're laughing, that means you can laugh, it's okay. He had to like mediate because we're like, if we laugh, are we racist? I don't know what
Are we
to
gonna
do.
get beat
He's
up
like,
when we leave?
Listen, if I ever and Ralphie May, he's like, if I say something that's offensive, look to someone. If they're laughing, then you can laugh. It's fine.
See, with me, it's comedy. You should be able to talk.
Say
about
whatever
all
you
kinds of
want.
Things, but I mean, there's don't punch down. I guess that's the you don't take an already marginalized group
and punch them deeper.
Get on. You need to have some sense about it.
But if they're not laughing at your jokes, then just give them worse jokes. Might
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that's what I did. Well, it made me mad.
Did you warn them first? Be like, all right, if you didn't like that, you're really not going to like what's coming next.
I probably said that at some point.
That's why I like watching Jim Hofstadter, his sketches, because if people start giving him grief, he's like, all right, let's go. Okay, that's what I do. So, anyway.
Oh, Steve Hofstadter?
Is that Steve?
Yeah.
There's
the redheaded.
the guy who deals with hecklers really
Yes.
well.
Yeah, that's Steve Hofstadter. He actually
Steve
used to
Hofstadter.
be involved with the group that owned this club at one time.
Really?
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Yes, he is. He's been here a couple times. Nice guy.
Anyways.
All right, we talked a lot. We have some news stories to cover before we run off into the sunset. Let's see what we got. Feral hogs.
Oh, my favorite!
Feral hogs.
Best kind.
Can I get you to squeal first?
Woo! Sections of a park in Northern California are now closed off, with warning signs posted after feral hogs invaded the area in recent months, causing tens of thousands of dollars in damage. The city of Lafayette said Tuesday in a news release the spike in the wild pig population in recent months has prompted the city to close some nature trails and post warning signs in order to protect residents from the dangerous species in the Burton Valley and Lafayette Community Park areas, located about 20 miles east of San Francisco. We've had a couple of encounters where the off-leash dogs have spooked a pig, and they came close to humans aggressively. Jonathan Kitayanagi, the director of Lafayette Parks and Recreation, told KTVU on Wednesday, feral hogs in Northern California.
Well, here's the thing. We moved there for like 1 week. People started screaming at us, so I packed my kids up and we left. So the feral hogs are not a problem anymore.
Oh, you took them
We
all
are
back.
gone.
Okay.
Gone.
We're gone. You're welcome.
Well, you know what's funny is feral means that they were domesticated and then reverted
Right.
back. So
So at
MTSU,
one time, these were tame pigs.
MTSU had feral cat problems, and they're like, don't pet, because now that they're actually worse than just wild cats that are always wild, because now they're used to being domesticated, so now they're just freaked out all the time. So what's funny is you have enough domesticated pigs get loose, and then go like, we don't know what to do. We're crazy
we're
now.
feral now.
Now we're feral.
Unless whoever wrote this didn't quite understand that there's a difference.
That's fair.
Then just everything is feral.
Everything's feral.
Everything's
Yep,
feral.
everything. It's not wild anymore. It's just
It's
feral.
just
It's
feral.
just feral.
Rabid, biting.
Well, that's the human view of the world.
Isn't that
we've
a
domesticated everything.
Sure.
Everything is
Yeah.
beneath us, and if it's decided to revert back to its crazy nature, it's
Isn't
just
that a
feral
horror
now.
movie about like? Oh no, that's Sheep. Black Sheep was the bad horror movie
Oh,
about
I haven't
sheep.
seen that because I know there was one about called Razorback that was filmed in Australia back in the 80s. That
Of course
was
it
about
was.
It was about a huge
A
feral
huge
hog.
feral.
It was my first movie, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've lost weight since then. Thank you.
Thank you. My
No, this
gallbladder
one
went
was
bad.
huge. If you were as big as this feral hog at one point, you'd have a lot of extra skin right now.
I cut it off myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's like it's like a full body circumcision.
This is why I'm like so interested in the 2 miles of penis. Like,
The rest of the time, it just looked like you were wearing a turtleneck, so you can hide.
so I cannot. Yeah.
Where's that feral hog?
Cold out. It gets cold out. Where'd Autumn go?
Is that like the
Cold.
lizard when you get scared, just pull your neck flap out like, ah! Oh, it's bigger than I thought it was.
I love this. Somebody needs to make this like a comic book.
No, the feral hog.
Feral hog
Feral
lady,
hog
help!
lady.
I'm here and I'll save you.
Anybody listening just heard that noise and didn't see the motion with it. They had no idea. Somebody just licked the microphone. Is Joe Biden in there with him?
Oh, Joe.
Oh, Joe. That's a third reference to Joe Biden in this set of interviews.
Where was comedy before, Joe?
Yeah, had to sniff children some other way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, let's see. Ducks. Go from feral hog.
Feral
My
hogs to
goodness,
ducks.
you're all about the animals.
Yeah, I'm an animal.
No.
I'm an animal lover. The ducks on a small holding may carry on quacking. A French court ruled on Tuesday, rejecting a neighbor's complaint that the bird's racket was making their life a misery. The court in the town of Dax ruled that the noise from the flock of around 60 ducks and geese kept by retired farmer Dominique Duth in the foothills of the Pyrenees, southwestern France, I didn't get that out right, was within acceptable limits of ducks.
Wait, this
I
went to
guess.
court.
This
Someone
went to court.
took ducks to court.
Yes, the Ducks have won, Duth told Reuters in a court, and after the court decision. I'm very happy because I didn't want to slaughter my ducks. I think that's a little extreme.
Don't you hey, your ducks are loud. I could scare them away, but nah, just kill them.
Yeah, no, we're not. Well, if you scared them away, they'd become feral ducks.
Then we'd have a feral duck.
Nobody wants a feral duck.
What I want to, they said,
Nobody wants
what is is there like a
Right,
decibel
yeah,
level? Like
there's
we measured
acceptable
it?
Limits. They must have. The complaint was brought by Duth's neighbor who moved from the city around a year ago into the property about 50 meters away from the enclosure in the Soustons district where Duth keeps his flock.
Oh.
So yeah, it's his
That's
fault.
why you don't-
should have looked. Yeah, you don't move
You
from the city.
don't leave
out
the
to-
city
yeah.
if you don't want to listen to ducks.
Yeah, you don't want feral ducks.
No feral ducks. Could you imagine a feral duck?
See, the ducks I'm okay with. It's the
That'd be
geese.
great.
Geese
well,
are
yeah,
mean.
geese
Geese
are feral
are
in
mean,
general.
yes.
They just start off that.
I
way.
hate them.
Yes.
And they're a lot in Sharonville where I work. And I hate all geese. When my wife was pregnant and we're going to one of the doctor's office just to routine, do the ultrasound or whatever, there was a goose, and it's like eyeballing you, and I'm like, whatever. And then I forgot something in the car, so I have to run back to the car, and the goose charges me. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh my, so I like freak out. And so when I go back, I avoid it. Well, we Dr. pointed me over, we go back to the car, and the goose is still there. And so I just I just charge it, because I'm like, no, screw you, buddy. And this guy is like looking at me. And I'm like, sorry, man. He's like, no, F that goose. That goose charged me the other day. You go, I don't care. I know what you're doing, man. Like, I'm about it. And I'm like, all right, solidarity, man. Screw
Years
geese.
ago, I was. I'm not going to say where I was working at the time, but I was outside working on this big gate that they had there, and about 50 yards away, there's a goose just over there. And they, like you said, they get on there, they poop on everything. Now, one of them flew into one of the CEO's convertible once, crapped all over the inside. It was brilliant. But no,
Yeah, you're about that.
This one was getting on my nerves. And one of my coworkers comes out, and I'm just eyeing this goose, and I got a rock. I'm just throwing up and catching. And he's like, "You'd never hit that thing." I was like, "Whatever." And I just kind of lobbed it over there.
You hit the goose?
It bounced on the ground about 4 feet from it. It bounced back up and hit it right in the side of the head.
Classic.
Hard enough that its head hit the other side of him. It just went,
Screw that goose.
and you know what? It kind of shook around for a little bit, got up, and got the hell out of there.
And for everybody listening, this is a joke. It never actually
never
happened.
actually happened. I
actually
would not
happened.
do
Never
that.
happened.
I'm
No.
an animal lover, but you should have seen that. No.
Geese aren't animals. They are Satan embodied.
It was a feral goose.
Feral goose.
Had to be done.
Here's the thing. What you need is extra neck skin so you can
That's right.
and
Or you
charge
can
the
goose.
goose.
Or you can just hide from it. and
That
pretend
Alfred
nothing happened.
Hitchcock movie
Like
was
a
just
turtle, just creep back into your shell.
Alfred Hitchcock made a whole movie just because he hated goose, but he had to change it to just regular birds because that seems scarier. But that was the history behind
Right.
it.
yeah.
Screw
originally it was
geese. Geese, if you're listening,
the birds,
I
it was
hate
the
you.
geese.
We hate you, geese. I'm going to serve those on my food truck next.
Let me see. I'm going to see what else I have in here about animals.
I was going to say, how do you
Nope,
beat
nothing.
feral hogs
It's feral geese.
and flock
Feral geese.
of geese?
Flock of geese. A flock of seagulls.
Flock of seagulls.
Because it's
I just ran.
a group of secondary school students in the Philippines. Well, that's close.
Oh, yeah.
Has found a way to convert poo from stray dogs into a mixture for bricks, aiming to rid city streets of excrement and potentially even lower construction costs. As part of a research project, 8th graders in the Payatas district north of the capital Manila gathered and air-dried dog feces, which were then mixed with cement powder and molded into rectangular bio bricks. Our streets will really be cleaned up. Our 8th graders are going to be covered with crap, but our streets are going to be cleaned up. The student science class advisor told Reuters he hoped local government or corporations would sponsor the students' research to help upgrade production.
Sounds like a really crappy research project.
Yeah.
So this one kid's like, hey, Bob, guess what? My dog can poop a brick.
Yeah. Bing! Light bulb.
Yeah,
Let's do
it's
that.
like,
Exactly. That's a brilliant business model because it's a renewable source.
It's like, this turd has been here for a week, and it's been hard the whole time,
Right.
and the rain hasn't washed it away
Why
yet.
do your Filipino kids sound like Russians?
Because, honestly, I'm going to be honest with
My
you.
dog can
No,
crap.
no.
My dog crap brick. We make brick out of it.
This whole week, I've been torturing my 15-year-old with my Russian accent.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
So
it's
it's just stuck
stuck
there,
there.
It's okay. My
I'm
wife with
stuck.
all of my accents. What are you trying to sound like?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
You
just
have
an
to hold a
accent.
sign
I
with
just-
what you're trying to be. Yeah.
He called me the other day, and I'm doing my whole Russian thing, and he doesn't say anything. He's just talking normal, and I'm like, you didn't say anything. And he's like, Mom, I'm used to it.
I'm
And
used to it.
I start crying on the way home.
That's
My
hurtful.
mascara's running. Like, it was a horrible time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
all you wanted was a little acknowledgement on your
Oh,
Russian accent.
Nice
That's all
Filipino
you wanted.
accent. I mean, Russian accent.
Yeah, or
Yeah, okay, well, I don't-
Australian, Russian. It's all.
Let's
yeah.
see, what else can I throw on here? I can go back to my country thing. That's what I'm used to,
The country thing.
The country thing. It's because I grew up on a farm
Oh, okay.
with geese.
With geese
With
and
geese.
feral
And
hogs.
feral
And
hogs.
feral
yes.
hogs. And rabbits. And a
and
horse.
camels.
And cows.
Do you have any camels?
Just the one. I can't even right now.
Just the
Sorry,
one camel.
Just the one.
Why just the one?
I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that
It
later.
happens, It happens.
It
It
happens.
happens.
Put it in the hidey hole.
In the hidey hole.
Yep. All right. The time has expired.
Time has flown.
Do you have any social media you want to throw out there?
Oh,
or
it's
at
Saint
least throw out where they can find your album another time.
You can stream my music anywhere. If you Bandcamp as well, if you're into that. If you're into
Because
vintage,
this one time at Bandcamp.
one time in Bandcamp. If you're into vintage audio, shoot me a message somewhere and I'll mail you a CD. In case
CDs
for the
are vintage
for the
now.
listeners that don't know, there's these plastic
hurt.
discs that look like small frisbees that a laser hits and plays music.
Do you have an 8-track?
I don't have an 8-track.
That's the only thing I have. Yeah.
She's still listening to that same Led Zeppelin album. That's all she's got on the
Well,
HF.
no, because it's 8-track. It would have eaten it after.
It would have eaten it, yeah,
Played.
It's a great thing, disposable. But yeah, so St. Mary St. Mike, STMARYSTMIKE is all my social media. And I think I have Twitter, but I barely do anything with it because
It's Twitter.
people barely do anything to mine. So whatever. I
Because
get
you're
like,
not the president.
That's true.
Yeah, people hardly do anything to my Twitter. Either.
That's fine. It's all I self-tweet.
Yeah.
But Instagram, Facebook, all the places. St. Mary St. Mike at Gmail if you like emailing. I got it all. But yeah, St. Mary St. Michael is the full band name. And
the band of one, because it's not actually a band.
Because
It's not
the
a
band
band.
doesn't want to be the
Because
band.
the band
all my
wanna be
band
a
doesn't want to be my
yeah.
band, but I mean I keep paying them, so they keep showing up.
But they want to be the band.
They want to
So-
be the band. It's your secret band.
Well, my drummer, all the money he makes from band stuff goes to buying car parts. My piano player's a drift racer. So, like, I'm over here, like, I need to make more money so I can buy, more recording stuff or whatever. And they're like, I need to make more money because I need new drift tires. Awesome, man. So, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Always good to hear you. Good to
Always
hear you
fun to
play.
be on your show, Don.
And Autumn,
Yeah.
always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
You feral, you little
You
feral.
feral hog,
Don't
you.
get scared when you see this feral hog behind the glass peeking in at
Oh
you.
no! I'll get excited.
Ooh.
Yeah. You're an animal.
I would do a pig noise, but I don't want to. So,
Right.
Yeah.
It would just be weird at this point.
just-
It
We don't want
would
anything- we
be
don't want anything
weird.
weird in this show.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening to our
Listen to.
Tin, 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 tin.
I'm done. Good night. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we are on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org, and we go Facebook Live at the Life Radio Show's Facebook page. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
You're using your throat wrong.
Yeah, just not when I'm just minding my own business.
I have a friend that swallows swords. He can give you a lesson.
Nice.
His name is Travis Fessler. He's real.